A very good morning to you, Stuart. Name here is Tom. The name is Tom. QTH is North Devon. The square Sierra Sierra 72. Sierra Sierra 72. And you're...
Hello and welcome back to the channel. Ben here, amateur radio call sign M7FRS, and something a little bit different today. In this video we're going to be looking at this old realistic DX302 from the 1980s.
To tie the ribbons up for the morning. Any other joiners worked all Britain net M0ICR, please call now.
So there you go, that's the worked all Britain net on 40 metres this morning. And this DX302 then, they were built between 1980 and 1982 apparently. I bought this one just before I got into the ham radio hobby, just something to listen on really. I wanted one of the newer realistics, but this one came up on eBay and I thought I'll give it a go. And to be honest, I've been really impressed with it. It really works quite well as an entry-level HF receiver. It receives the whole of the HF band right up to about 30 megahertz. It's got a pre-selector on it, so you have to pre-select your bands. So at the moment, I say we're on 7 megahertz or 40 meters. So I set the pre-selector between 4.5 and 12 megahertz, and then tune the pre-selector to, well, about just beyond 7 megahertz, as you can see there at the moment. If we change, the signal strength meter drops right down. You'll still hear it a little bit, but obviously to get the stronger signal, you need to tune with the pre-selector first of all. So that's the pre-selector side of it. You've got attenuation on there, so at the moment it's on 0, or you can give it 20 dBs of attenuation or 40 dBs of attenuation. Lamp test on there, that's because this has got batteries as well, so you can test the batteries. Obviously there is no batteries in it at the moment, it's running off the mains. It's got a 240 volt supply into it. A little bit of a hum, I noticed. You probably wouldn't get that with a 12 volt supply or with the batteries, but does hum a little bit with the main supply. But yeah, you can turn the light on and off. The light's on all the time with the main supply, but I think with the batteries you can obviously save power by switching the light on and off. You've got your narrow and wide on the next switch there. So obviously we're using it on wide at the moment. If we flick it down to narrow, there you go. Not too good on narrow on lower sideband. Got your BFO pitch as well. You hear it.
Golf Echo Oscar Fox, and I'm in Sugar Echo 90.
And yeah, that works really well. RF gain, volume, and then you've got your different modes. You've got CW or LSB, lower sideband, CW and upper sideband. You can put the radio into standby, so nothing at all, or we can flick over to AM or AM ANL. So we'll go back to lower sideband there, and we'll have a little tune around. You've got 2 rings here on the VFO. You've got the outer ring, which changes the actual frequency itself. So there you go. So the megahertz, it changes the amount of the megahertz. And then the inner, so the inner ring or the inner VFO changes the kilohertz there. We'll have a little tune around and see what else is about, shall we?
Data schon, aber das Schönste ist, wenn der oberhalb von Trondheim ist. Ich habe dann nur 2 Flaschen Whisky mitgenommen für den Chef da, den wir treffen wollten. Dann haben wir I hadn't realised that I got back in time for the net, so there we go, that can't be bad. And, right, okay, I'll definitely wish everyone some free. Thanks for running in there, Ned, and we'll catch you further down. Is there a track point on there?
So it's got a really smooth VFO. It really rolls nicely on this, ever so smooth. Little knurled wheel on there as well if you want to use that. But yeah, it's ever so smooth. Really nice VFO on this one. Let's change bands. Let's go up to 20 meters. So to go to 20 meters, we need to obviously rotate the outer ring up to 14 megahertz. There we go. And then we change the pre-selector from the 4.5 to 12 to 12 to 30 megahertz, which puts us on the last one. You see the last LEDs come on there. And then we'll wind that down to about sort of 14 megahertz. We want to change to upper sideband as well, and let's see what's about on 20 meters, shall we?
Hier nach Kroatien und leben jetzt hier auf unserer Südseeinsel. So sieht's aus, Bernd. Eine Südseeinsel deswegen, das kommt genau daher, weil ich früher zwischen Ost- und Westfalen war.
Thank you for
So there you go. There's a little bit of activity up on 20 meters. Let's try 10 meters. See if there's anything on 10 today. So 28, and then let's wind that pre-selector up to 28 megs. And let's see what's about on there. If there's anything on there on 10 meters today. I've just got this plugged into my long wire, so I'll show you around the back in a second and what we've got plugged into it. But I just used to literally just have a piece of wire the length of my garden plugged directly into the back of this originally.
was weiß ich, auch schon wieder 10 Jahre oder 15 Jahre schon her. Als der auf jeden Fall auf den Markt gekommen ist, wurde er natürlich vom Kennmutter präsentiert im Juni da am Bodensee. Und
let's have a little listen down on the CB band, see if there's anything around near the 555 at the moment, see if there's anything about on there. Might not be. Let's wind that down to about 27.
Tutti ne hanno parlato, allora ho detto volevo prendere una radio, diciamo, di backup, ho detto prendiamo questa, tra l'altro è piccolina, è ottimo anche.
Yeah, a bit of activity on 27 megahertz there as well, so a little bit of conditions around today. Before we spin it round, let's flick it right down to the broadcast band, shall we? And see if we can listen to something on AM.
They've got wonderful bowlers. England have got rookie spin bowlers. But I watched the young players. India's young players, I think, have been fabulous. Yeah, I mean,
so you can see where when we adjust the pre-selector here onto the right frequency, it affects that signal strength. So I want about 1.089 megahertz, so we just need to roll this back a bit.
They win this series out here. I wouldn't be surprised if they win it. Did you really feel that?
There you go. So we're getting a really strong signal on there now.
Because of the conditions and England.
So there you go. Let's spin it around and have a look at the back. So around the back, then we've got an external speaker socket. Key, I'd have to look at the instructions to see what the key's for. I'm pretty sure that's not for a CW key because it's only a receiver, obviously. A tape out just shows how old this this radio is. When you had cassette recorders that you could record the audio out. 12 volt input there. So like I say, you can either feed it off a 12 volt DC input, or we've got 240 volts AC going into it at the moment, or you can open this up and you can run it off I think they're C-cell batteries. I assume this was probably part of the original packaging. I guess it's probably never ever been opened, but yeah, it needs 8 C-cell batteries to power it up. I think, like I say, that's just in there as packaging. Probably been there since new, I guess, because it's not something I've put in there. You've got your SO239, or take the PL239 plug. Like I say, this is just plugged into my long wire out in the back garden at the moment. Or alternatively, you could just plug the wire straight in there onto this screw here. You've got a couple of ground screws and then the mute screw as well. I'm not sure what the mute one does, but yeah, that one says it does mute. Again, I'd have to look at the instructions to see what that was actually for. You can see by the label there, they were built for the Tandy Corporation, and like I said, these were manufactured between 1980 and 1982, and they were actually one of the first radios marketed for the Tandy Corporation to have a digital frequency display. They succeeded the DX300, which was probably the first one to have the digital display. So anyway, I hope you found this video interesting. We've got some more CB ones coming up in the future, so stay tuned, and we'll see you on the next one. 7-3.